Welcome, everyone, to Season 3, Part 2 of Capeside Chats. I am here with the amazing Spider-Man. Simon Man. The amazing Simon, who is the host of Ravens, who is the host of The Mighty Ravens, The Mighty 90s, all of the podcasts. You do a lot of podcasts, bud. You're really in it. Yeah.
Yes.
So we are back. I am Lex Lutz. I host Lex and Matt's Excellent Adventure, and we are back to talk about Part 2. So the back half of Season 3, which is probably my favorite season. I had some listeners message and say, this is pretty much their favorite season. So I am excited to get into it. So glad. I'm also very glad that we split this. In this season in particular, it's very difficult to not split this up the more we, got through it. So, because as you now have seen, the back half is very different. It changes.
For sure. There's so much to talk about, and every single episode is, like how in Friends they label the episodes as the one where this happens,
yes,
the one where that happens.
Yeah.
Or Dawson's Creek, I've found, this season anyway, is very much like that. They're like self-contained episodes, but with the continuity, still sort of running through. But you could say, it's the one where, from the first half when they went the Blair Witch episode, or the
yes,
one with when they do up the B&B, or the one where Joey's
the boat race,
the memorial wall, gets defaced, and all of those things. And so I really like that, and I think having 22 or 23 of them individual episodes to try and cover in one podcast episode would definitely be a bit of a mammoth of a task. And I think when we did season 1, I forget, is it only 8 or 10?
13.
Oh, 13.
13 episodes in season 1. Season 2 was also 22. But we struggled a bit in season 2. But I didn't feel like season 2 was too much. But this one, when they make that shift, which is we just lucked out. I'll make sure I figure out where exactly we're going to stop as far as season 4 is concerned. But we just kind of lucked out that you were finishing an episode that was a perfect episode to let things go, which is, that where we left off. So just to catch everyone up, in our last episode, we saw that Pacey is developing feelings for Joey. And then that's where we are. That's that episode that we said was one of our favorites of the season. Does that still stand for you, by the way? Is that still one of your favorites?
Yeah. I really like that one. I really enjoyed so many. I enjoyed the one where they went camping and the kids show up. I enjoyed, the
freaking Jerry Maguire kid showing up out of nowhere.
I know.
Whenever I watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, the Jerry Maguire kid is on this show for 3 episodes.
I love Jerry Maguire so much. So it was crazy that he was in there. It kind of spoiled it. I knew he was in it before he showed up.
How'd you know that?
Just because they put the credits at the guest starring. His name's Jonathan Lipnicki, I think is his name.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I tell you who was even more annoying in the second half of this season is Henry. Get a grip, Henry. My God.
I was going to share a Henry thought, but that one needs to wait. Yeah, Henry.
So intense.
Jen deserves better. I will say that I like that Henry. Okay, so before we get into it, because I think that's a good place to start. Henry and Jen, we can kind of discuss that. Before we get into this, I wanted to show you some things, some prop things, because I could not show you. Remember in season 2, I held up the season 2 DVD and we're going into season 2. I could not do that for this one.
Whoa.
Because up front, that is the image that they use.
That is crazy.
Yes.
Why would they spoil it like that?
What's weird too is that on the back, it's a season 1 image. Like,
as you do.
I don't know. And then we're going to share real quick, and you guys can, if you're listening to this, you can pop over to YouTube and see everything. So you ordered this as well, but I just wanted to share, when we were starting season 3, I was getting really excited, and one of my favorite props is, and this is a card that came with it, the True Love, that Pacey's boat, that sign. I want one of those. So of course I went on Etsy and I was looking, I'm seeing if anyone made it. They haven't. If anyone knows of this, please send it to me or Simon or whatever so that we can possibly get me one of these. But I was looking into it, and I found from it's Whitney, which is, this is, hopefully it kind of shows up. This is like a little prop thing. So I got a True Love keychain.
Yes,
and on the back it says, "You think or you know." And this is where, Simon, you find out that I am full Team Pacey and Joey. 100%. And we can fight about it as long as we want. But I wanted to share that visual, especially the DVD cover of like, guys, this is the season we're getting into. It's weird because I've watched these so many times, and every time I see the orange, and I'm like, oh, that's my favorite. It's weird how little things happen like that. But you had another adjustment too. And did we talk about in the last episode, they changed the theme song on your viewing?
Yeah. They've changed it on Netflix. Yeah, I haven't opened my box set yet, so I don't know what the theme tune is on that. But I'm assuming it's the same as mine, which is the first 2 seasons will be the one that's on Netflix now, the original song. The rest of the seasons will have, what is it? Heart in My Hand. There's Run Like Mad. That's the name of the song. Run Like Mad. Heart in My Hand sounds good, though. That could be the third rendition that we could co-write. I like it.
Oh, my gosh. That's going to be a terrible song. I can't sing. I don't know about you, but, no. So like, you had that adjustment. I actually haven't watched the show. So I stopped. I feel like I might have talked about this last time, but I was too far ahead of you. And I started the first episode of season 4, and we hadn't even recorded that episode, like that first half. So I just said, I have to take a break. So I'm really excited to go watch it with that original theme song on there. I know you're a little bit sad about this, but... Well,
can I share it? Can I share a really dorky thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Surely this is the place for said thing. Right?
I think you're in safe company, yeah.
Yeah. So I've been getting Dawson's Creek now, this season anyway, is kind of intertwined with fitness turn. So this is the first time besides Effany that I am saying this to anybody else. But I've been quite determined to lose weight. I put on weight over the lockdown period.
We all did, yeah. If it makes you feel any better.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely have.
And I see you on Instagram like doing workouts and stuff, and that's motivation. But also we had a baby over lockdown, and I think new parents eat a lot out of stress. I'm guessing. I don't know. I did anyway. So I put on some weight. And I've sort of been determined to get it off, and fortunate to have a treadmill in the garage, as you would say. And
I like garage better.
Treadmill in the garage, and I got the iPad sort of set up to run with it, and you could say that I run like mad while watching, with my heart in my hand, while watching Dawson's Creek, and I kind of just decided that. So I'm running every day, and I'm doing well. I've lost like almost coming up to about a stone. We have different systems. It's like coming up to about 14 pounds.
That's a lot. Wow.
Yeah, that's in like 2.5 weeks. I've been running a lot. Yes.
That's a lot of running.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. How much do you run in that amount of time? I don't run. I do, with my cardio, I do biking. So I'll bike like 6 to 8 miles, or I will walk on the treadmill, but I will do full incline. Like you're going up the hill the whole time for a half hour, and I'll do like a mile and a half. Like I'm not doing that much. Whatever you're doing.
Well, it's not that. I don't run particularly fast. Like it feels fast for me, but I'm doing. It takes me about 34 minutes or something like that. So it's just under like what an episode is.
Yeah,
that's like, I don't know, 3.5 miles or something like that. It's not like it's nothing crazy, but I'm like drenched in sweat afterwards. But
that's good timing, though. That's really good time.
That's okay. I don't know, but I
assume I don't run.
I think that's probably not that great. I think it's average probably, but I think the first bit of weight is probably a bit easier to get off because I think naturally I'm supposed to still weigh less than what I do now. Like I kind of quite anyway. It doesn't matter, but it is
easier for men to lose weight as well. So for all of our female body listeners, just know that. I've seen it. I have seen it.
I'm pretty sure that like now it's going to be, I think the first bit is like the easier part, and then now it's like going to be harder to, but I'm determined. It's kind of like I'm making it a lifestyle choice. I'm just going to run all of the time, you know.
So you have that, so you get to watch an episode and like it's a motivation to work out because you've got the association.
Exactly, but the dorky thing is so when I'm listening, I never skip the theme tune, never. And as I'm running, I'm like drenched in sweat. Every time it goes, I don't want to wait. I put my arms up. I don't want to wait while running. And they do it twice in the theme tune.
Yeah.
So like the first time, I'm not on my own in there, but I keep getting this like horrible feeling that Effie's going to open the door and I'm just going to be like, I don't want to wait. So, but yeah, more positive connections to.
But then you just go, you know what? You married me. You knew what this was. You knew what you were getting into. That's the beauty part. This is the worst. The for better or for worse. This is the worst. This is run like mad.
Yeah, exactly. Well, do you know what's funny? It's F had watched Dawson's Creek like back in the day when it was, you know, on TV and whatever. And I'm now beyond the point that she had ever seen. I don't think she ever saw, not because of not watching it, but just because, you know, when it's in real time, you know, that's like 3 years and things check. Yeah. So, yeah, it's cool. I just have to put it out there. Well, firstly, the key ring is dope. I love it. Yeah, ordered one. I'm sure that if we can't find a full-size prop version of the sign, you know, I'm sure that we can get it made. I haven't told you this yet, but one of our loyal listeners, the Squirrel Collective, she does what do you call it? Knitting, but it's not knitting. It's
crochet.
Yes,
crochet. Yes.
I'll link to her page below. Super dope. So much cool stuff.
Cool.
We're trying to find where there could be some crossover to some sort of crochet Dawson's Creek themed kind of like jumper or something. Cool. She's trying to see if, you know, has Dawson ever worn anything that could be like mimicked in crochet or. So that's the challenge, people. We've got to find.
That's pretty fun, though. That's cool. Yeah. And we do have people watching along, which is always interesting to me. So I'm very curious to hear what anyone has to say about these new season or this season. We said we were going to talk about Jen and Henry first because Henry's a lot. Henry is a lot to deal with. So just jumping into that, I think Jen deserves a guy this head over heels in love with her. This like into her. And that makes me happy. And I love that she kind of like tries to run away. Like she's got the fight or flight thing going on here where she's like, I'm just going to bail because I don't trust it. I don't trust anyone. I think it's very true to her character. But then she slowly opens up to him. And puts herself out there in a big way. And I love that. I just wish it wasn't, I guess I wish it wasn't him. Because he is obsessive.
He's kind of like psychotic.
Yeah, something's wrong with him. Yeah.
Yes, and I don't trust the way that he has no sideburns, nothing. Like it's just straight here, long
It's
hair,
1999.
nothing. Yeah, but
I don't remember the styling of 99. He looks scary. I think that doesn't help. No offense to the actor, Michael Pitt, I believe his name is.
Yeah.
There's just something about him. He could play a serial killer.
And he does, right? In Murder by Numbers.
That's true. And in Dawson's Creek, season 4. No, I'm just kidding. What if that? No. But yeah, like he has that vibe, and it's very scary.
He needs more sun. He definitely needs to go outside more. Like I tell you what, I like what you're getting onto the point of that. Yes, it's nice for Jen to experience this sort of quote unquote wholesomeness, and
yes,
that he's just really into her, and he kind of, in a similar way but different to how Andy brought parts of Pacey out, he is kind of bringing different elements out of her personality, but he is just so needy, and then also kind of stupid, like things like
go ahead. One of the things, what? Go ahead.
Well, when Dawson finds out, she accidentally lets it slip to Dawson about Pacey and Joey.
I was going to bring that up too.
Right, and then she's upset with herself that that's just happened and wants to sort of talk about it or to process it, and all he wants to do is like make out with her, and she's saying, but look, I want to, this isn't the time right now, and he just doesn't get it. Like he's sort of young-minded in that way. Yeah,
he's too immature for her overall. Yeah. Her instinct about that was right from the start. I think that a big issue with Henry and Jen, one of my least favorite Henry moments. I would say I kind of like Henry. Like I'm pretty, he's okay as far as like one of Jen's partners is concerned. But like she really has had like pretty much bad dudes, and then Dawson, he was the best person for her. And remember, Henry's kind of like a more intense version of Dawson. Like Dawson was kind of this way too. And Dawson, we will get into later, but is also obsessive, also territorial, also selfish. I think one of the parts that bothered me the most about Henry this season was that that moment where he's like, I'm not interested in like your melodramas of whatever's going on within your little clique group. And I'm like, that's her life, man. And those are her friends. And she has a life outside of you, and that's healthy. Do you have a life outside of her? Because, like, you need to. I know you're 15, but like this is your time to learn that. But yeah, you have to keep reminding yourself that he is 2 years younger than her, I think is the whole thing. Because freshmen, they're juniors in this season. So, yeah.
But then he does things like he stands up in the rafters and proclaims and has the speech, after the show.
That is so cringy. Oh my god. Like, what? Yeah. No, that's a teenager for sure.
Yeah.
Did you like that scene or did you not? Because I'm curious.
I thought it was funny. I didn't think, I'm, I like you now. I don't, just for the record, I don't dislike Henry. I just find him I feel like if we could just turn him down a little bit, then I think he would be fine. But then I think you're right.
And even Jen says that. Like there are times when Jen's like, you need to calm down. Like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as far as like moments of declaration, of like, I'm into you. I'm trying, like, for anyone who likes the OC, I think Seth with the coffee cart thing or whatever, like that was better. I know, because our crossover, One Tree Hill, like a much better example is Lucas saying, I'm the guy for you, Brooke Davis. when he comes out in that beginning of season 3, when he comes out on the beach and he's like, like there are moments of that big, like, I'm going to do this in front of everyone, proclamation of love, that I think have been done better. And with Henry, he's just like, at the end, he's like, can someone help me get down? And you're just like, God, Henry, what the fuck? Like, how are you on the football team, dude? Like, where is your confidence?
Well, he goes to football camp for 8 weeks at summer without telling anyone. That's all summer. So and his like his birthday party he didn't invite her to because he's like doing the piñata and all that sort of stuff.
That's actually one of my favorite moments in the season, though, is Jen and Andy and Joey just having their like little sleepover, and then they go to the roller rink in the fancy pajamas and everything. Like I thought that was really cute. That was a really cute moment on the show.
Yeah, for sure. I think, like what you said with Henry, if they did turn him down a bit, he'd be too similar to Dawson. So I think that's why he has to stay at that sort of crazy level. But I feel like, and I mean, like, I don't know, but it doesn't feel like he'll be around for the long haul. I don't think. I think he will be gone because I kind of
like Cliff or what's the other dude's name? Billy.
Oh God,
we hated Billy.
Yeah,
there was one other guy. Either way, who cares?
I actually am surprised he's been around this long. I thought he was going to be gone by now. I thought he was going to be good, show her some different sides, some more sensibilities of herself, and then he would move on and she would move on. So I'm surprised. And then the way that it ended, that she went and found him and she did the big moment, which was nice.
I loved that.
Yeah, I like that. But if I'm being honest, I hope that he doesn't make it to season 4. I think he's run his course. He could. Right. Oh, they moved. Oh no, what a shame. Anyway, let's move on with Jen, because I really am endeared to Jen now. Like, I like her, and I get it. And like I said in the last episode, I look forward to watching it back at some point and knowing where she's going to end up, and can be like, okay, I get it now. And I do have a big prediction for Jen.
Okay. Well, so let's talk about Jen. I think that this season, I love seeing Jen do different things. So, like, falling in love with Henry and being kind of swept off her feet in a very different way. And she's not hiding herself. So that is a big difference between Henry and Dawson, in that she really tried to be someone else with Dawson in the beginning. And that shook him. And with Henry, she was kind of like, fuck it. Like, I am what I am. Here you go. I don't even want you in the first place, which is kind of cool. She's a cheerleader. She is living with Jack for a large portion of this. Her dynamic with Jack is one of the most beautiful relationships on this show. We often talk about the romantic partnerships, but Jen and Jack have one of the best relationships on the show, hands down. I love how much they love each other. Like, they're, how they have their own cereals that they know, it's just all these little things between them. I love Jen as a friend in this season. How she sees the connection between Joey and Pacey. And she knows that she even says at one point, it's inevitable. When two people are supposed to be together, you can't stop it as hard as you try. Like, she tries to ease Dawson into that. She also doesn't, unlike Andy, which we can get into, she doesn't view Pacey or Joey as villains for this. She kind of sees it and goes, yeah, that makes sense. And doesn't hold it against them, is kind of trying to be supportive and be there for them. Like, she tries to talk to Joey about the situation. She's, just a very supportive friend to everyone throughout the season. So my biggest thing that I take away from Jen this season is I just love how she steps out of her comfort zone and how she's a great friend and constantly supporting everyone in whatever way she can.
For sure. And she's a great, like, even to Pacey. I mean, that kind of happened in the first half, didn't it? But she was like a great friend to him. Yeah, she is great all round. And my big prediction for her is, and it kind of ties into Pacey and Joey, which I know we'll get to separately. But I now see, and I'd say this to get to my point, I now see Pacey and Joey as the end game. And I only say this because there's been so much pressure and so much talk about how Dawson and Joey are soulmates and they're always going to go back to each other and this, that, and the other. And I think that, well, I hope anyway, that the overarching message behind the show is going to say, just because people feel like they should be put together doesn't mean that that's necessarily what's right. And true love can come from any direction, where you're not expecting, and it can be in any place. And I think that's great. So I'd like it if Pacey and Joey stayed together, which I think is a better coupling. They seem to match better. I know that they were together in real life, so they have good chemistry.
Yeah, I think briefly, yeah. I don't know who all dated, but I want to say that they did date for a period of time. And I don't think anyone has any, grudges against each other as far as the show is concerned. There's no, strife behind the scenes.
Yeah, I look forward to looking at all of that stuff. Not the gossip, but I mean, looking at looking at their IMDb. What have they done now? Obviously, I know Joshua Jackson's done and bits of Katie Holmes, but I don't know about the others, but so because I think that's going to happen, I think, okay, so what about Jen and what about Dawson? And I actually think that would make sense if that Dawson and Jen got back together, because one, historically, that was his crush. It was his crush before Joey was his crush, right?
Yeah, and then that was his first girl that he was like, oh, I like girls.
This is a new feeling. Yeah, and also they kind of yin and yang in the way that Jen and Henry does, but he's not as turned up as we were saying. He's more chill and sort of more, it would balance it out better. So I think that would work, but I don't know.
No, I like that prediction. And it's funny because they don't have to be the yin and yang, but it does work with them together. She does bring perspective that he doesn't quite see in a lot of ways. Joey and Pacey are not yin and yang. The more you think about them, they are very similar. They both have really messed up home lives. Yes, she is a great student and he is a screw up in that sense. But they're both kind of snarky, I mean, Pacey's a little bit of a dreamer, but not at the level of Dawson. He's also a realist. Joey's very realistic, very grounded, very bitter at times, a pessimist. And so they're very similar in that way. So I think that's an interesting dynamic to be oh, yeah, they can be yin and yang. And then Joey and Pacey are kind of two sides of the same coin kind of situation. But yeah.
I really like them together. Pacey and Joey. So I was rooting for them so hard. And obviously not knowing how it was going to end up. The fact that she chose him at the end.
I don't think that is a thing you see coming. Because she really will not let go of Dawson. Even though she doesn't want him. And that whole decision was heartbreaking when you realize that she is holding on to Dawson. She even basically says, it's you're the only family that I have. You're all that I have. If I didn't have to worry about losing you, I might not have made this choice of you. And that is that rocked him to his core and fucked him up in a big way.
It did, because he basically had to give her permission to do it, but I can't remember. Had he said before she said that you got to make your own. I can't, the way he put it in the speech, and then did she say that after that?
He said several things.
He said all the things.
He did say, like, you have to make a choice, and that was the prom thing. Like, he was basically saying, like, of course I was doing this for you. Of course everything was for you, to remind you of what we are and why you need to choose me. And she's like, I don't think I should have to choose in that way. He's like, of course you have to choose. Like, this is it. Like, you can't have both of us in that way. So he did put the ultimatum on her. Mm-hmm. He did put her in the position of she had to choose between his friendship and a romantic partnership with Pacey. And he also tried to push her back into romance with him in that moment. And you could tell with her, she's like, not like things are not completely gone, because it was like a first love situation, but it's not there anymore. It's not the same. And the fact that he tried to push her into that is super fucked. And then, yeah, I mean, his overall animosity towards Pacey, him saying, at one point, I think it's during the episode where he finds out, he says, like, I feel sorry for you because at the end of the day, Joey and I are going to be fine, but you're going to have no one. And I was like,
yeah,
but what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I will say, if Dawson and Joey were together when this happened, if they were a couple, and I specifically want to address the episode where they go visit the aunt. What is her name?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. Well, that's where they kiss for the first time. Second time.
No,
they kiss for the first
that
time
was,
by the highway, and then they kiss by the fire, right?
That is the first time that Joey kisses Pacey. That's the big...
That's it. Yeah.
Let's go. Season 3. I need to find this aunt's name.
Yeah,
it's gonna bug me if I don't.
I can't be the one that keeps initiating this.
Yeah, I can't keep kissing you, and she's kind of like, wait, what? Why would we not? And he's like, no, you got to kiss me. Not a weekend in the country.
And then the aunt
stolen kisses.
She gets
Aunt
in
Gwen.
the way.
Aunt Gwen.
Aunt Gwen gets in the way. She's just like standing there. Like, can you give them a minute?
Aunt Gwen. That's why I brought it up. What the fuck is her problem? Acting like Joey is cheating on Dawson in that moment. I was like, so like they set her backstory that she cheated on her husband, like, and left her husband for this artist guy, and the artist guy died, which is really sad. But I'm like, you bitch, are you projecting on a 17-year-old girl right now? What is wrong with you?
I think that, Lex, I think the thing is that she just really enjoys doing creepy paintings of little kids
yes.
and then giving
them
to them.
I hate that painting. I fucking hate that painting. Oh my god. That is a nightmare of a painting. I just want to throw that out there. Does anyone agree with me? Let us know, because I did not like that painting. I'm sorry.
It's a bit of an eyesore, you could say. Is that a saying over there?
Yes, it is a saying over here.
Yeah.
So that was weird. I enjoyed that episode, though. So, God, it's tough to get into the Pacey, Joey, Dawson dynamic. I'm glad that you were rooting for them. I think it's hard not to, but there are some people that do not like them together.
Oh, really?
That is a thing.
It's like the Brucus Layton thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
So in that situation, it would be, they're Layton, like the original first, which would be Dawson and Joey. Like, that's it. That's the one. And I have thoughts based off of One Tree Hill as well. I still go back and forth between should Brooke and Lucas have been, and would they have had behind the scenes stuff not happened?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think that kind of determined some of that anyway, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but that does
change the show.
that is a good comparison, I think. Like,
yes.
Brooke and Lucas is more like Pacey and Joey, and the other way around. Yeah.
And I want to say that they, in the beginning of One Tree Hill, that they wanted to do this triangle with Haley. So it was the two brothers and then Haley.
Yeah, they said that on Drama Queens, I think.
Yeah.
Initially that was going to happen, and then, I don't know, it just didn't.
Yeah, because this is what saved the show. This got Dawson's Creek 3 more seasons. Like, the show was tanking. It was not doing well, and the writers were kind of like, what are we going to do? And they're like, well, why don't we, what about these two? What about Joey and Pacey? Like, and it's like, no, you can't do that, because that's Dawson's, like she's there for Dawson. It's like, no. Like, let's throw some shit into the fire here and see what happens. Like, and I think they kind of played with it with the Jen and Pacey thing. Mm-hmm. But, like, it didn't hit the same way. Even, like, we talked about this in the first, it feels weird. It feels off. It's not a good pairing.
It doesn't create enough drama either. And, like, you know, I forget his name, but the guy that Joey met when she went and stayed in the college room, that guy, he had the same amount of screen time I was expecting Henry to have. I thought Henry would be in like that. Like, in 3, 4, maybe 5 episodes. I hate
that guy. I just want to throw that out there for the record. What's his name again? AJ. I block him out. I block AJ out.
He's pretty douchey. I mean, the fact that Joey has to, you know, make him aware that he's writing subliminal poems about his, you know, long time love friend situation.
Okay, yeah. But is there a more accurate portrayal of a fucking English major university guy? I would say college, but, like, you would say, I guess, university in this situation. Like, this guy's favorite book is Infinite Jest. Like, this guy worships Ernest Hemingway. This guy is a walking red flag. Like, he is just going to destroy your fucking life. That's how I view him.
Okay.
He's just,
well,
he's
was
that
a total
guy.
Prick when he came in. He was a total
He
prick.
was. And even when he, like, warmed up, he was still an asshole. Like, yeah. He never got better to me. And he was the one. So, this is a thing that we did want to address. And I don't know how many listeners know this. But they were trying to do a spinoff of
Dawson's Creek.
Of Dawson's Creek, yes. The WB was trying to do a spinoff called Young Americans, and it was featuring Will, or was it featuring? Yes, okay.
Why?
It was Will, and it was
Will, as in Pacey's friend.
Pacey's friend. Remember, they were like, "Here's Will, and he's got a bad home life, and that's why." And then he's like, just gone, and then. I was trying to remember if it was him or AJ, but they tried to do this spinoff called Young Americans. I don't even think they ever aired this. I'd be curious to see if we could find it on YouTube or something like that.
They did a pilot for it.
Holy shit, they did 8 episodes of this. Guys, what? What the fuck?
That are available. In what year?
2000.
Oh, so wait, is this, what year is this? Season 3? Is season 3
2000? 99 to 2000.
What? Are you sure they're connected? Yes. There's definitely a spin-off.
Yes. This is a spin-off. It's an official spin-off. I've
Is
never
it
seen
available?
it. I've never seen it. I don't know.
No
I
way.
don't know. Let's see if it's somehow on this disc. Because sometimes they have, like, extras like that. No.
Wait, 8 episodes.
8 episodes.
If we can find these 8 episodes, we have to podcast them. 100%.
Yeah, and then someone let me know if it has any spoilers with season 4. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like it aired mid-season of this.
What?
So, yeah. Oh god.
No way.
The picture. He looks so mad.
Yeah, because he may take a picture with his sister.
Yeah.
Do you
Anyway.
know? Can I just say something? This is related / unrelated. I saw in a One Tree Hill forum the other day. Not that I was. Sometimes our podcast.
Were you watch youing in a One Tree Hill forum?
No. Sometimes our podcast gets brought up in these forums,
cool.
and it's interesting to see people. Firstly, it's interesting to see strangers that I have no idea who they are talking about our podcast and arguing about it. And I think our podcast, it doesn't divide people, but we come at it from a different angle. So it's just interesting sometimes to see people's perspective.
The viewership for both our show and One Tree Hill is majority women. And you guys are covering it from the male perspective. Like, there are definitely One Tree Hill male fans. Like, there are guys that love that show. You being one of them. And I think it's the easiest show to introduce guys to. Like, if you have a best friend or a boyfriend or whatever, like, and you kind of want him to watch a show with you, my recommendation, and you want like a drama soapy show, go for One Tree Hill. Like, it's the easiest sell. But yeah, like, so I understand why people might have that criticism, because they don't, they might be like, oh, it's two guys or whatever. It's like, but like it's completely like no one else is doing that. That's what's cool about it.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I mean, I think most people, we're lucky. We've got like 155 reviews on iTunes, and we're sat at 4.9, out of 5. So we're good. But sometimes there are people that are just like, maybe the humor's too blue, or some people have just said, yeah, it's great content, but I can't stand their accents, things like that. So it's just interesting.
Yeah.
But then we also get other people saying, I don't care what they're saying, we like the accent. So it's just, whatever, it doesn't matter. But it's fun to see sometimes.
Some people can't understand like British accents and stuff. I've had this conversation with Matt where certain shows he has to put the subtitles on for it, and I'm like, I've never had that, but that's interesting. Like, it's just a cultural thing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But my point is I was looking in one of these forums and just sort of doing whatever, and no, I can't even remember what I was talking about. What were we talking about? Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, right? Drama queens.
Yeah.
And there's so much talk about drama queens in the One Tree Hill world, right? Mm-hmm. And which we spoke about. We did a review episode together about. And there was so many threads about people saying that they find it hard because they like to just think of the actors as the characters, and they don't want to split it. They don't want to think of it as two separate people. They like to just keep it. So like when you just showed that picture there of Andy and Jack,
yeah.
Instantly, I'm just thinking, oh, he looks awkward because he's having a picture with his sister. But actually, he might be as awkward because while they were acting and taking that picture, he might have had wind and he's trying to hold it in. Like, I don't know.
But that's the beauty, though, is that they were acting perfectly in that moment.
Yes.
I just noticed this. I'm sorry to bring back the DVD box set, but guys, Andy is not on this cover.
Okay. And the
I think they know.
Pacey
she's an asshole this season.
Wait, and the picture of Pacey there with the sunglasses, that's like the iconic one. Isn't that from season 2?
No, that's from this season, the first episode.
Oh, first.
The stripper.
Episode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's his whole bit where he's saying like the strippers will come, or the boys will come because there will be women, like, and he's doing his whole risky business move. Yeah. Okay, so back to the this core love triangle.
Can we talk about that episode? The episode.
Yes, the longest day. It is called The Longest Day.
That one's dope.
I remember I messaged you and you were like, "Oh, I have this episode next or whatever," and I said, "Your TV is not messed up." That was all I said to you, because that was my experience the first time I watched it. I thought something was wrong with my DVD because it started replaying. And I was like, oh no, it's skipping because like, I bought them used or whatever. And I was like, no, that's just the way that they're doing it. And I know it's an homage to a film, but I can't remember what the film is off the top of my head. I'll look it up. But anyway, so what did you think about that episode?
Yeah, I liked it. It's very sort of... at first, I thought it was going to be like Groundhog Day, where it's that...
Go. Sorry, the film is Go.
Okay.
Which Katie Holmes was in. Well, that's weird. The same year it came out. Okay. I didn't know that. I've never seen this movie. Anyway.
Subliminal promo. They were doing subliminal promo. Yeah, at first I thought it was going to be like a Groundhog Day thing, and I thought it was going to be like Pacey thinking about how he was going to do it and then trying to do it different ways to find the way that's going to, and then he'd wake up and then just do it away. And then...
I'm so glad it wasn't that. I hate that. I'm sorry, I hate Groundhog Day, and I hate that trope. I can't. It's repetitive. I get through that episode because I love the drama of it, but I do struggle when I rewatch it because I don't like the repetitive stuff.
But I guess it's different with this because it's just showing you from different angles. It's a bit like, did you ever watch the Nicolas Cage movie Snake Eyes? You ever seen that? Where it's like a boxing
Years ago, I think. Wait, no, I'm thinking of the one with John Travolta. Face Off. No, two different films.
Also
never mind.
Classic. But it does, in Snake Eyes, it does. Basically, something happens at a boxing fight, and then someone gets shot, and then the whole movie, they show it from different people's perspectives, and then you're piecing together what actually happened. And I liked it that it was like that.
Yes.
And so you
because there's a scene where like Dawson is acting weird. And you're like, why is Dawson acting weird in this moment? And then when they show his perspective later, you realize that he knew. And when you go back and rewatch it, you will see this. You will see, that he knew. He knew then. He wanted her to say, like you'll piece it all together, like the order of events a little bit easier. Yeah, I hated Andy in that episode too. Because Andy was like, I know she's jealous. I recognize that she's jealous. But in that moment, when she finds out, when Dawson's like, they're screwing behind our backs or whatever. And then like he goes into the house and Joey chases after him. And then Andy's like, really, Pacey, like you chose her. And she's like, this ruins everything. And Pacey is sitting there like he's dead-eyed, staring at the house going, I just lost my best friend and the girl. And now Andy, who I'm trying to rebuild my friendship with, hates me and is yelling at me. Pretty much the only person that doesn't seem to hate Pacey in this moment is obviously Joey because she's in love with him, but she can't show him. And Jen, who is, once again, praise for Jen Lilly, who is the neutral party and just wants everyone to be okay and to be loved and understands that this is part of being a teenager. But yeah, Andy, and then Andy does the same shit that Dawson does in the prom episode. Like Pacey is depressed as fuck. Like he is not doing well, and she's like, well, this is time for me to get him to fall in love with me. And Dawson does the same thing with Joey. She's upset. She's not doing well, and they're like, you know what? I think this is the time for us to bang. Like, let's do it. Come on. Like, what?
Well, if we stay on Andy for a second, I think that, and we said in the previous podcast episode, I think they're confused, or they're a bit like, they don't know what to do with her. And I feel like that continued in the second half of this season. Yeah. I mean, they kind of tossed her a bone with, is it Will, you said, wasn't it?
Will, yeah.
As in of something to do. But then even that, it was sort of short-lived, and I didn't feel their chemistry was really that great.
No. I didn't understand why they did that other than to give her a storyline and to propel him. Like I said, I wanted to tell you that because I want you to know why they're introducing this character at random and why they seem like he's important and then he disappears. It's because they were trying to sell a spinoff, unfortunately.
I just wasn't interested in him. Like I
wasn't either. You forget about him until he shows up when you rewatch it. Honestly, And it sucks because there is a part of him that's a little bit charming, like when they're playing pool and like, it's nothing against the actor or anything like. It's just the deck is stacked. Like we don't need this guy coming in that moment.
And he's not as charming as Pacey. Like of this,
no.
so then it's like, well,
God, who could be
interested?
Joshua Jackson is so charming and handsome. Oh my gosh! Like rewatching this, I'm like, he looks so cute in this, guys, and we can acknowledge that. Like even
sure.
Simon and I are both lovers of women, but we can acknowledge a handsome fella when we see it.
For sure. Do you know what it? Do you know? I mean, I don't have them here because they're being reframed, but I think it's pretty clear to everyone that know me anyway or follow me is that I'm obsessed with the Mighty Ducks movies, which obviously he stars in. And this is just giving me such a deeper appreciation for him that I want to go and watch. I've seen them all a million times, but I need to watch them again because it will be like watching them fresh. Because it's like, oh, I know how you grow up.
I want you to watch Dr. Death as well, which is his most recent miniseries, but I don't want you to watch it until after you're done with Dawson's Creek.
Okay. You need to watch. Yes, I for sure need to watch it, but you also need to watch Pretty Fires Everywhere. Did you watch it already? No,
yes,
you didn't.
I have seen that. Yes,
did you
love
like
that
it?
show. Yes, it was fantastic.
They just announced the second season today.
They didn't. I know what you're talking about. Did you click the link of the tweet?
No.
It was Kerry Washington was promoting registering to vote. And she's like, season 2, click on the link. And then the link was because America is a mess.
That's great. But I wanted to see season 2.
Not a fan. I
can't vote over there.
But I don't know how you do. How do you do season 2 of that show? That's a whole separate conversation. So.
I got done.
Andy. What?
I got duped.
Yeah. I clicked on it too, and I was like, okay. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, unless there's something that I missed, I'm pretty sure it was all just to promote registering to vote. So, Andy also had the disciplinary committee situation that she was involved with. Oh, gosh. Right. But that is the Pacey storyline and the Principal Green storyline.
The Principal Green, that's what I just remembered. Hell yeah, I love him.
So let's go back a little bit. As Pacey is developing these feelings for Joey is growing into her own person, which I really love in this season. She dates the AJ guy, but she's not necessarily like, I gotta be head over heels for this guy and everything. She's just kind of like enjoying dating him, she's coming into her own as an artist. She's given this opportunity to paint a mural, which, by the way, that's a great idea, and I hope more schools do stuff like that because it's really cool. She's painting this mural. She is going off to the college and being involved with AJ in more social events that she's never really done before. Like that one episode is called A Cinderella Story. It's because she's all dressed up. She's being a really like different person. They have the B&B that she's helping run, which, by the way, let's not skip over the fact that Joey Potter is 17 years old and helping her 24-year-old sister start a small business. Like that's crazy. But yeah, so Joey's given this opportunity to paint the mural, and the way that they use the mural to have Pacey show his loyalty to her, have him display, like, I believe this is the right thing to do. He steps up in a really big way. And then, of course, later he buys her the wall. And the another iconic imagery of the season is Ask Me to Stay. Mm-hmm. But, so, the Principal Green storyline. I love Principal Green. I love Nikki. And I love that they showed, it's not just, I wanted to like say, okay, this is this great thing with Joey, and this is his way of defending her because he loves her. But at the same time, it was showing like white male privilege in two different ways. So one, using his for good, right or wrong. He did become violent, and that Pacey did become violent, and that wasn't good. But like, and then it's Matt Krutsky or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
Or maybe that Will Krutsky. I don't. It's Matt something, isn't it? Matt Caulfield, I think is his name.
Yeah, Caulfield. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's using his white privilege in a brazen way. It still shocks me every time when he's like, I'm white, I'm rich, I can do whatever I want. And I'm like, what? Like that scene is shocking. Mm-hmm. And I loved the acting of, I don't know the name of the actor off the top of my head who plays Principal Green, but like his acting in that moment was like, well, I just have to sit here and hear that. Okay. Like I have to stay composed. Like that. But I loved how political it became. How it became like a battle within the school, within the community. And when we were talking in season 1 about racial issues, and you were like, I wish they addressed this a little bit more. I was like, they're going to, but they're going to do it in different ways. And this is like that way of showing, yeah, this community has a lot of embedded racism, just like so many small towns in America.
Yeah, and he did deliver a great performance, and his daughter as well in it. She was really great. He doesn't get saved though in the end, does he? He gets the standing ovation as he walks out. I kept thinking that something was going to happen, and he was going to stay, because he was, I thought, becoming a really pivotal character for them at school anyway. But I thought it was really well written. It was really well done. It wasn't like over the top, where some shows could have taken it. Watching One Tree Hill weekly in between, watching Dawson's Creek, it's funny to see how. And it's just like an era thing of how a few years later, One Tree Hill, especially in like season 3, 4, going into that point, it's like Dawson's Creek, but on steroids, like sort of blow. And I love One Tree Hill, obviously. Right. But it's, and I love both of them. I love Dawson's Creek as well. But it's very much, like the, steroided version.
Right. It's like it's. Well, I've always said that about, it's particularly like One Tree Hill season 9. I'm like, this is One Tree Hill like on speed or something like that. You know, and that comparison can be made with it. Yeah, it's a more accelerated version of it. I loved how they dealt with that. And did One Tree Hill really deal with that type of situation? I don't think it did.
Not really. I can't think of an example of
Dawson's
that.
Creek is a more grounded show. It's just a different. That's why you can enjoy both of them, because they're two very different shows. But yeah, I love. That's one of my favorite storylines of the season, and I know I hate it. I hate that he is kicked out of this community. Basically, is not saved. But I also love that, because it's not wrapping it up in a little bow, going, if you do the right thing, everything will be fixed. And it's like, no, there's like a systemic issue here that you need to try to fight with, all of the power that you have, all of your voice. But that doesn't mean that you will yield results instantly. Sometimes you will just make someone feel appreciated, which is what I think Joey in particular did for Principal Green.
Yeah, for sure. That was an episode that I was watching on the treadmill. I'd got to my end, but there was still 5 minutes left of the episode. But I couldn't usually I'd turn it off and just come back to it the next day. But I couldn't, so I just stood there, just watching it till it ended, because it was so gripping. So, yeah, I think that was probably one of the most powerful episodes that we've had at all, in any of the seasons. But also, you've reminded me, and I wanted to say this, was that we got so much more of Grams in this season, and she's developed so much. And I think I remember when we were talking in season 1 when she, had these, racist comments, and it was like "fuck you, Grams" and blah blah blah, which was right.
It's valid.
But I think that perhaps they didn't know what they were going to do with the character at that point, because it feels like the Grams that we have here, I don't feel as much as may have some of that like embedded, like what you said, sort of beliefs from a different era or whatever. I don't think she would be so outlandishly hateful, like how that version of Grams is in season 1. It feels like that, if they were to write season 1 now, knowing how they want the characters to be, that they probably wouldn't have included that. I mean, do you think that's fair to say?
I think it is fair to say. I think it's also, I've said this before, and I'm a firm believer that the influence that Jen has on Grams is huge. I think she opens up her world in a really big way, and Grams does the same thing with Jen. So Jen is like very liberal, very like she's not super into, religion or anything like that. She sees the world a completely different way. So I think that Grams spiritually elevates Jen, and Jen makes Grams a better person in the world now, like in the everyday life. And then you add Jack to the situation of him living in the home, and I think that also opens Grams up to like, I mean, before Jen, would Grams and like this is her only grandchild and everything like that, at least that's what we've gathered, would she have welcomed, this gay homeless kid, basically homeless kid, into her home before Jen, before the impact that she had on her? No, I don't think so. Like, it's just, that's the beauty of the dynamic that they all have. It's that they're breaking that down. But yeah, I don't, that's why I think everyone was kind of like don't judge Grams too soon, but I also view it as, I don't necessarily want them to not have written that, because I think it shows that she can grow as a person. But it took a lot of strife between them. Yeah,
I mean, maybe it was too hard to go. Maybe it could have been in that direction, but maybe they like hit it too tough. Maybe it could have been a bit more.
It was an intense, weird moment. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to defend her any further.
Yeah.
Other than good. Grams has 2 beautiful moments in this season. I mean, she has more than that, but when she is talking about her favorite smell, which we already covered, like the fireplace, and talking about growing up. And then in the finale, when she talks about Thomas Culpepper and the boy with the bluest eyes.
Yeah, that she kissed, right? Like the guy that went off into the Navy, or
and that Jen thought was her grandfather at first, and then it was revealed no, it was just a person that she fell in love with, who never made it back, but she has no regrets about loving him and sharing that kiss with him and sharing those moments with him, which I thought was just really amazing. And they all took that lesson in that moment. You can see it on their faces. They're like, oh yeah, like life is really fleeting, and we have to take advantage of loving and doing the best while we can, while we're here,
And then she drives them to do all of their, declarations.
Grams went crazy in that moment. She was just like speeding down the highway, did not give a damn.
I liked it. Well, just as a intermission for a second, if in 2025, when we go to Wilmington, where are I keep looking when they're in the different places and thinking, where is the quintessential filming locations to go to for Dawson's Creek? Because it's quite obvious with like One Tree Hill, you want to go to where the river court was, or you want to go to where the outside of the high school was, or the bridge.
So a lot of the boardwalk area where they film a lot of those outdoor scenes, what's it called, the boat area where Joey's working and stuff like that. The school, University of North Carolina, Wilmington, one of the buildings, that's the high school. That's Capeside High School. So like the outside, like that's where they film all the exteriors. Dawson's house is a location. It is not one you can get to. They don't allow that. I've never seen it in person. I don't think the people that live there now are cool with it, but like that exterior is somewhere in Wilmington, I think, to my knowledge. Yeah, but it's mostly just like, it's weird because I think that Wilmington feels like Capeside, whereas the One Tree Hill was like you would go in certain spots and you'd kind of feel it, but like the vibe of Wilmington feels like Capeside to me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And then also, while we're just on this brief intermission, Capeside Chats hoodies. What do you know about that? Back to you, Bob, on the back.
Back to you, Bob. Yeah, I've got mine over here. I can actually grab it and show the back to you, Bob.
Yeah, excellent. So these are available. Links will be below, I believe. Yeah.
I'm bringing
fun.
all the merch.
Good times. Yeah. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. So good.
Back to you, Bob.
And back to you, Bob.
Yeah. Okay, so we haven't talked about Jack at all.
No. Or Mitch and Gail. Jack is...
Jack.
All right, so when people are on screen... Like I like all of the characters.
I have a note about Jack before we get into it.
Okay, go on.
This is the first male-on-male kiss on network television. This
I wondered
a lot of
that.
barriers. Yeah.
I wondered that.
Yeah.
It was good.
Anyway.
I mean, like as in, it wasn't. We're so used like to this stuff now. It wasn't like, oh, this is any sort of a big deal or anything. But I thought, oh, I wonder if this was a big deal in like 2000.
Yeah.
So what was there anything around it? Like, was there any hoopla or anything? It was
I don't think so.
Well received.
No, I don't think it was. I don't think there was like a big controversy behind. I mean, I'm sure there were people that didn't like it, but to my knowledge, I don't remember. And I'm 99% sure that was the first kiss between two men on screen, like the first gay male kiss. I know that Friends was the first portrayal of lesbian wedding, like a lesbian wedding. I know this one had that.
Who would have thought Friends would have broken that barrier?
Yeah, it was very strange, but they did. Like it was like 95 or something like that when they did that. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure. If I'm incorrect on that, let us know, because I'm curious. But I'm 99% sure I remember reading that years back on like an IMDb type situation. So yeah, Jack is coming into his own in this season. And it is a really beautiful storyline of, it's kind of crushing at the same time too, his relationship with Ethan at this back half of the season. So like the first half of the season is him like kind of trying to get out there for the first time, and then the second half of the season is like this relationship with Ethan, and what is it gonna be? Is it just gonna be friendship? Is it gonna be more? Is it but yeah.
And his dad, which it ends great. The way that he's like hugging him, in the kitchen where Jack's sort of breaking down. Like, we would have never thought that we would have got to that point from where we were at in season 2. It's an amazing turnaround, and the guy that I don't know his name, but the actor that plays his dad is a really good actor. He puts in really good performances. I think.
Yeah. When he was like, I wouldn't have asked for a gay son, but I wouldn't trade him for the world, or something along that line. I was like, it gets me every freaking time. Every time it gets me. Yeah, and that comes after Jack puts himself out there because he wants to kiss Ethan in an earlier episode. I think it was the Cinderella episode, but I can't quite remember if it was that one. And then he kind of chickens out and he can't do it. He's too scared. Like, it's not his first kiss, but I think I talked about this, and it's the first one that matters. And I don't mean to belittle his, the fact that he did have past relationships or anything like that, but he is a gay man, and this it's as if everything is, you're on little Bambi legs and you're doing it for the first time. We've all been there. Everyone has experienced that, or almost everyone has experienced that first kiss or whatever, but like for gay people, sometimes it's a delayed thing. So whereas, maybe his peers all and himself had their first official kiss when they were like, I don't know, 10, something like that. I think I was that age. Like it's almost like it doesn't count. Like it's weird. It's a thing that you do. It's not, you don't have an emotional attachment to it at all. I was never emotionally attached to any guy. Whereas, when I started dating women, actually came out and everything like that, it changed everything. It was like the stakes are real. Everything feels real for the first time. So I like the fact that he's scared and kind of pulls away, and then he has the courage to go do it, and he gets shot down. Like, Ethan is back with his ex, Brad. And
he plays a part in One Tree Hill later.
Who?
The guy, the boyfriend, doesn't he? I think he's Nathan's coach in like season 6 or whatever. When he's trying to get,
I think you're right.
He's trying to get Nathan into like the D leagues or whatever to get him on the path back to the NBA.
I'm gonna find it. Keep going.
But just while you're looking that up, I think that's very. I mean, yes, I think that's very true. But I also think that kisses mean different things depending on what the importance are to them, like on how much you like a person, or like like you just said, you have like your kiss when you're like kind of a kid and sort of.
On One Tree Hill. How did I never notice this?
Yeah.
Holy crap. It's Bobby, I guess was his name.
Bobby, that's it.
His name is Burgess Jenkins. That is an interesting name. Wow. I never made that connection. Wonderful. Good eye. Continue.
Wow. I was like, I've seen that face before in One Tree Hill.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, you may have like a kiss when you're like a kid, or as you're sort of growing up and whatever. And then you may even have other kisses in between that. But it's if you have someone that's like your crush, or someone that you it really means something, it's really important, or it feels important in that moment. Yeah. Then all the nerves come with it, and then I guess there's a whole different level if like you've met, especially with what Jack's gone through. But in general, if you've made this statement, you've told people that you've come out and you're being yourself and proud and etc., and then it's built to this moment of now here's the first sort of romantic physical step into that world. That is a lot of pressure. I feel like it was played really well. What I was going to say earlier was that there's certain characters that when they're on screen, I'm like, these are my favorite characters. Like, I want to follow them all of the time. And Jack is definitely one of them. It's definitely Jack, Pacey, Joey, Jen if Henry's not about, and then I'll take Dawson if he's there, sure. But this could have been called Pacey's Creek this season, I think, because I think he, as an audience, we were way more invested in Pacey than we were in Dawson.
I mean, he becomes the villain of the story real quick. And we did have some listeners writing in, and there was a lot of Dawson discourse, as there always is. And I feel like it really starts in this particular spot. Kara, who just started listening, she used to listen to River Court, actually, and then found out we have this podcast. She's like, oh my, because I saw her rewatching Dawson's Creek, and I was like, hey, I actually have a podcast on that. So she went back and listened to everything and then gave us notes for the rest of this season.
Oh, awesome.
So Kara said she said she's all caught up on Capeside Chats. Thank you, Kara. She says, I get the defense of Dawson because you and I have defended Dawson a lot in the past, especially in the first season, but I hate how he makes everything about him. He's awful in the second and third season. And she said that she also hates Peyton, hates Rory from Gilmore Girls, which is a whole separate discussion, and Serena from Gossip Girl. So
I haven't seen those two. Gossip Girl. What was it? Gilmore Girl. I haven't seen
Gilmore Girls is one that you should consider visiting. But and then let's see, what did that's a one that I'm going to save for later because that's not Dawson specific. And that's a Pacey and Joey thing. So like because I remembered Kara saying that about Dawson. We have defended Dawson a lot, and I feel like the defense stops here.
Yeah, that's
because there's something about, in particular, the boat race, where he could have literally killed them, and he just doesn't give a fuck. He's an idiot.
Yeah, even when he gets disqualified at the end, and Joey's like, "Do you not even understand that you didn't win? You got disqualified. Do you even know how this works?" I mean, Dawson is so narcissistic, so selfish, self-absorbed, whiny, immature with a lot of things. But the only one defense I will give of him is that he feels. Take the vocabulary out of it, like we always say. He feels more like what teenagers are actually like.
Yes.
In some regards, because all teenagers are self-absorbed, and then there are elements of him that I had this conversation with my wife about. She just said to me, she said, "Who do I feel more akin with?" I was saying about how much I love Pacey in this one, like Pacey or Dawson. Or who? And I said, well, the reality probably is I'd like to think Pacey, but it's probably a mixture more of Dawson and Jack, I would think. And hopefully maybe about when I was younger, it was probably more like 70-30 to Dawson, Jack. And now as I'm older, I'd probably say it's probably like 70-30 Jack to Dawson. But
yeah.
But I fully get it, yes. I mean, what do you think?
I think he's a teenager. I think that the girl that he views as his soulmate, his true love, that's how he views her. And his best friend since they were kids fell in love. And that will break your soul in ways that even adults, if your best friend and the girl you love the most in the world fall in love, that's gonna mess you up. And love like that can kind of make you do crazy shit. Well, let's be honest, guys. If it's an unhealthy relationship, which Dawson and Joey are at this point, in this back half of the actually even before that, they were, that's why he separated himself from her, because we're kind of he's like, we're toxic, we're not working, this is bad. We have to have time apart, and that's why he sends Pacey. He's like, someone needs to look out for her, be there for her, be her friend. She doesn't have anyone. She acknowledges that at the end of the season when she's worried about losing him for good. I hate his actions, and I hate how selfish he is, but I understand it. I understand that he is clinging for dear life, and I think that's why Jen is such an important character, because she sees it too. She is saying, you can't stop this. You can't stop not only what's bound to happen, which is these two people are in love with each other, and they are going to find their way to each other. Your relationships will be altered because of this. And you cannot stop the pain that will come. And that is what we get to see going forward, which is this is painful. That's why we see him break down in that way. And he does inevitably do the right thing, which is to tell her, I love you, I forgive you, go. He does give up his selfish ways in the end and gives her that permission because he knows it's the right thing to do. It's what she really wants, and he sees it. It's all over her face. You know, he even says, it's a shitty thing to say in the moment. He's like, I could tell you it's a mistake. I could tell you that all roads lead back to me, but you're going to have to figure that out for yourself, which I'm like,
but that's
okay.
A more realistic thing that you would say. If when I was 16, 17, that's definitely the sort of thing that like narcissistic kind of twisting things around sort of thing I would have said. Definitely. Yeah. But like you said, he does always get there in the end. In the end, he does the right thing. So we have to give him that.
He has morality, but he's just, as you said, he's really immature. And I think also, like, there's moments where Mitch is like, I'm supporting you, but, like, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure? That was an interesting dynamic, too, and we'll talk about Mitch and Gail. But, yeah, Dawson has a lot to redeem himself with going forward. That's what I'll say. And him giving her up, I hate to say it that way, but I can't think of any other way in the moment. In that moment, does not redeem any of the shit that he did. And I don't like this feeling of the responsibilities all on them because they fell in love when he was not with Joey. They weren't together. They weren't. This was not an affair, but he treats it like it was an affair. And I think that the immaturity is not allowing him to see that. And that's unfortunate. And that's a consequence that we're going to have to deal with going forward.
Yeah, it makes for good drama, you know. It makes for good conflict. I mean, we have to talk about his facial expression, the meme, because I had seen that meme just in general life in pop culture, but never know, and then obviously knew it was going to be in Dawson's Creek at some point, and then he made the face, and I was like, that's the face, which I thought is kind of harsh because it's actually only on the screen for like a second, and it's kind of just finishing the scene of he's about to break into tears, but he doesn't really quite get there. It's
also very heartbreaking and good in context. He is having. Have you ever seen that show Homeland? I only saw a little bit of it, but like Claire Danes, when Claire Danes cries, she's like it's awful. But I mean, we can't all be Sophia Bush crying, looking like a fucking princess. Like, you know, a lot of people cry and they look really bad when they cry, and I kind of like that. But yeah, that scene. And Joey making that choice at the end to go with him. Did that surprise you? Because he was like, ask me to stay. And she goes down there. She's like, I'm not asking you to stay. I want to go with you. Like, I have to know. I have to do this.
I didn't expect her to go. I expected them to be together. Like, I thought he would stay, but I wanted her to go. I thought this would be the best thing, is just to go for 3 months. That'd be great.
And I think Dawson even references that he kept her from going to Paris.
Yes.
Remember that was season 2, where he was like, I kind of made you stay because I was selfish, and I'm not doing that again. I'm not making that mistake again, which is a moment of growth for him. Once again, we have to admit, you know, very little defense of Dawson, but we can give him this little moments of, and this is her following her heart really for the first time. And then, of course, there's the moment of, you know, I think I love you. You think or you know? You know? You think you love me or you know? Another scene. So, I mean, and one of our listeners wrote in and said that Tessa wrote in and said that I remember everything, which is what Pacey says when he's explaining when they're at the anti-prom and he sees her bracelet and he's like,
bracelet,
I remember this is your mom's bracelet. You found it. You were wearing that sweater that I think is really ugly, and you were in a bad mood. Your hair was, like he was going through and then Joey's like, you remember all of that? And he's like, I remember everything. Mm-hmm. And she said that is the most iconic line of the show. And then in any TV show really was what she wrote in. So yeah, I mean, it's up there as far as a really romantic moment. I was thinking about this before recording. I was like, what are moments on TV shows that's like a big romantic moment that is similar to that? Because it does stick out.
I liked it. Yeah, it was good. I mean, so when you said that, I'm trying to think. There must be one with Ross and Rachel. But yeah,
he's her lobster. That's yeah. That I mean, it's funny, but like it is one that you think of. On One Tree Hill, the person who you want standing next to you when all your dreams come true is like the thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but yeah, like it's interesting that they pulled off like in this one moment, and like, God, the tension between them in that scene, in every scene where they're not able to physically be together, when they have this moment of separation and they're dancing, and Andy and Dawson both see them, and you could just see they're like, we know we're done. This is it. Like we don't exist to them really. Like they care about our feelings, but this is inevitable. I loved that.
Yeah, it was great drama. It was well written. It was just good. It completely mixed it up. So it makes sense why this would have, been a lifeline for the show if it then, got it renewed. I mean, on the flip side of that, we've got Mitch and Gail sort of rekindling their marriage and opening the fish restaurant.
I was to say that's great. Kind of the last piece of this season, which is them rekindling their love and their marriage as well as their independence. So yeah, they open the restaurant. Gail, she has that brief moment where you think she might go back into broadcasting, but she's like, nah, I'm done with this. I'm interested in the restaurant. We find out that the restaurant was always her dream originally first, which was kind of, I think, a little bit retcon of a moment. I know you were rooting for them, and you mentioned that in the last episode, that's one of the things that you wanted. So how excited were you for that?
Yeah, I was really happy that it happened, but I think I liked that it didn't happen straight away, that there was like the lead up to it, and then I liked that it was him saying, it's always me that is trying to define our relationship, so I want it to be you that defines it, and then she proposes to him, and I thought that was great. And it's nice as well because, back to you, Bob, she initiated the betrayal, right? I know that they then had all of this sideways back and forth from where we've been at and everything, but it was nice that she was the one to jumpstart it, getting back to where they are and then renewing their vows. Yeah, it was great. I'm really happy about it, and I was happy that he was working at the restaurant as well. And I don't know what's happening with the football team. Is it just the off season? I guess.
I think it's the off season. Yeah, I think that's what it's meant to be. Yeah, I loved that as well. One thing I like is that, like, the trauma that Dawson is going through at the end of the season with Pacey and Joey, he at least has the stability. So two things happen at that end there. He has the stability of his parents are now remarried and back together, and presumably in a more healthy situation, which could improve his home life. And then there's the moment where they get out of, where Jen, Jack, and Andy get out of the car, and Jen sees Joey run away because she's going after Pacey, and then she looks at the dock and sees Dawson collapsing, basically, on the dock. And you go, oh, and he's got them. And I like that touch. I like that, that moment where Jen goes, oh shit, everything just blew up. We got to deal with this now. And, they go and they're once again waiting in his bedroom. because that's the norm of this show. They're waiting there. They've got movies. They've got snacks. They're ready to tell stories. He doesn't want people around. Well, tough luck. You've got people around. And I really love that.
Yeah, it was good because you can't hate Dawson either. Like, he's just going through the motions and emotions, and he can be right, he can be wrong, but we all can be right and wrong as teenagers, as adults, as people in general. We all make mistakes and whatever, but he's not a bad person, and we all need the comfort of support and community and our friends. So I really liked that. This was definitely my favorite season. I say the second half of season 3 is probably my favorite run. It's really good, really good. So far, I would probably rate it backwards, like 3, 2, and 1. Though I did really enjoy season 1 as well. But, is that how you feel about it? Of these first 3?
Yeah, absolutely. 3 is my favorite season. So Victoria actually wrote in, and this is the last comment that I wanted to share about this. So Victoria wrote in and said, my thoughts on this season, or my thoughts are that this season is the best, hands down, and this is the beginning of the end for Simon.
Oh, no.
So we went back and forth and clarified this, and I can't read a lot of it because, we're getting into forward. I think that Victoria's concern is valid, that this is not to say that the rest of the show is not good, but this is so good. This is the thing that if you're getting someone into the show, you're like, just get to season 3. Just get, just wait. Season 3 and 4 are my favorites. I think 3 being higher ranking. And then, there's whatever. But I love the whole show. But I'm very curious to see how you feel season 4 versus season 3. Because this is so good. Like, I mean, One Tree Hill has the same thing. Where, like, for me, seasons 3 and 4 are the best. I don't know what it is about that time in each show, but it just hits everything perfectly for me. But yeah, I guess she had some criticism of season 4 that I don't agree with, but that's going to be fun going forward. I can't wait to hear that, as listeners write in and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, I think it's, I'm very excited. I've only seen one episode of season 4 in this rewatch that we've been doing together. So I'm excited to get back into it, to start watching them again, to see, do I still feel the same way? Do I like X, Y, and Z? But yeah, this changes the whole show. It changes everything. The show goes from these two, the two characters who are soulmates and they're meant to be and they're back and forth and everything like that. And then the rest of the characters are kind of their subplot, to a true love triangle, like a messy, dynamic that is completely altering the show going forward.
I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, even if I didn't like it, I would still I'm sure I will like season 4, 5, 6, whatever. But even if I didn't like it, I'm still going all the way. I'm way too invested.
No. It was more of a comment on quality. It's hard for the hardcore fans of the show to be like, oh, well, you get to look forward to. We're like, this is the best. Like, this season is so good. I think that at the end of the day, you probably will still say this is your favorite season when you're all said and done, because that's how most of us feel. But everyone's different. But yeah, do you have any other predictions going forward?
Not really. I don't see. I have no idea what they're going to do with Andy. I have no idea.
Yeah.
They need to find something for her to do. Jack, I think, will keep going in the sort of trajectory he's going, and that's great. I look forward to watching that. Jen and Dawson, I think, would be better suited. Let's hope that happens and Henry can go somewhere and find some sideburns. And then Pacey and Joey, I just want to see it blossom. But obviously there's going to be trouble ahead because that's what we're in here for. There's going to be some drama. But I'm hoping that they will end game it,
Yeah. So you are officially in team Pacey and Joey as of now.
Yeah. Do they have it? They don't. We said this before, don't they? Do they have a? Yeah. Do they have a ship name?
Not that I know of. Let us know, guys.
JC.
I don't like it.
Josie.
I still love from River Court when we did Pake. Jake and Peyton. We said Pake. Terrible. Anyway, no, not that I know of. And you did get some predictions in before, but this is going to be good. I'm going to figure out, and we will let you guys know exactly where we are going to keep doing the halfway break in between seasons. It's much easier for us to do. So,
for sure.
I'm going to go tonight, and then I'll message Simon and I'll tell him this is the episode where you stop at. I'll find a place that I think is good for us to cover the first half of season 4. And then, based off of that, you guys can message me if you want to write into the show.
I think I'll get through it quite quickly. I mean, I think we recorded maybe 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah. It does go faster doing it this way too. Like it seems to be an easier thing.
And I'm on a good rhythm. Like I wanted to be watching it over the weekend, but I watched Castaway instead on the treadmill.
I mean, at the same time, it's better because, you're not going into it knowing the first episode or 2 episodes or whatever of season 4 for this conversation. You can actually give a prediction or a thought. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm very excited for season 4, part 1.
For sure. Then this was really fun. Like, it's funny how we have no structure here. We haven't written anything down, but it's so easy and just flow through the characters.
I keep track of characters. That's what I needed to I guess I needed to double check. No, we covered everyone. We covered the big themes of this second half of the season. True love.
So there you go. True love. So links will be below for, the Instagrams, the other podcasts, Lex and Matt's Excellent Adventure, Ravens, a One Tree Hill podcast. They'll all be there. We appreciate everyone, and we'll be back for season 4, part 1.
We'll be back. Back to you, Bob.
Back to you, Bob.